Hi guys, today is the 17th of October 2019 at 25 minutes past 7 in the evening over here in the UK. I've been getting a lot of comments about November the 3rd and an event in Seattle. A lot of comments, and I'm not entirely sure of an event in Seattle, but 11/3 is within my watch week of October 31st to November the 7th. So having the thought of 11/3 and for example, here we've got NFL as a connection of something possibly occurring during the game. I had a look at November 3rd, and I'm more drawn to the match taking place at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 1:20 a.m. on the next day in the UK, between the Ravens and the Patriots. It will be played in Baltimore, the Baltimore Ravens home stadium, MT Bank. That name doesn't really draw much significance to me, but the location does, because it's where Elijah Cummings was from, and he died today at the age of 68. And I've talked about how I feel the Baltimore Trade Center could be involved in the next event. I started talking about this after I watched the Jonathan Kleck video where he was decoding the $10 bill, and the building was awash with water, and there was a reflection of the building in water in front of it. So I did a lot of research, and I was drawn to this building in particular, its design, its location on the waterfront where there's a reflection of the building. You can just about see in the water just there. So the image of the water coming over the building, I've always thought is connected with Baltimore and the One World Trade Center. Obviously, that is also the location of girders from the Twin Towers that they've displayed there as a memorial to the first 9/11, which may be significant. They're storing pieces of the Twin Towers there. Could be the location or a location involved in a second 9/11 event. But with the whole thought of, the water coming over the building, connection with the Jonathan Kleck interpretation of the $10 bill, I started looking at the possibilities of water flooding into Baltimore. Obviously, it could come in from the Atlantic, but that would be a more widespread issue. It wouldn't just be Baltimore. But if it's coming from a river, a dam failure, then that could be more localized. So Baltimore has a number of dams, but the one that stood out to me is obviously in connection with the Baltimore Ravens, the Ravens from the iPad Go 2 video, the Tower of London Ravens. We've got the Loch Raven Reservoir. If any of the dams are to fail, I have an interpretation that it would be this one. The water would be supplied by the Big Gunpowder Falls River, which again, which again may or may not be significant. As I've got the watch week of October 31st to November the 7th, we've obviously got fireworks night falling within that time period on November the 5th, which would be where the gunpowder, the treason, the plot comes in. That's why I'm also watching Donald Trump around that time, because he's talked a lot about treason and plots, and that could have all been clever language in order to give us an idea, possibly, of when something could happen to him. Obviously, he'd be involved, so he would know. 23 billion US gallons of water being held behind the dam. Obviously, 23 is a significant number. What I found more significant, two things actually, is the historical reference to disasters in that area. The Great Fire of 1904. If it was to be a great flood, history would repeat itself, but it would be opposite. And we know how they like to mirror things, do them backwards, do them opposite. So instead of fire, water this time. So, keeping an eye out for that. The other thing I want to point out is the Big Gunpowder River is 6.8 miles long, which is 6 and 8, which again equates to the age that Elijah Cummings died, and is in the state where he is from, or was from. So that is what I'm seeing If there's any potential connections to an NFL match, something happening during that match on on the 3rd of November, then I'm looking more at the Ravens versus Patriots, which would be at 8:20. It would again connect more closely with interpretations of time I've done in the past, which is like 8:30, 8:45, looking around halftime in terms of football match. But that would be kind of just after the whistle has been blown in an NFL match. And obviously politically, we've got the whistleblower, which has led to this whole impeachment thing, which is all over the news. So there may be various different connections across the board in terms of that kind of time period. Again, though the events could be connected. So 11:3, I've always thought a scenario between going on during an NFL match would be an earthquake. So if there was an earthquake in that area or close by, it could end up damaging, or at least that's what they could say, could end up damaging the dam itself, which again, after several days, for example, if this occurred on November the 3rd, then November the 7th, for example, could be the date that the dam fails. I choose November the 7th because in 1923, the dam was elevated from 51 to 117 feet, which is obviously an 11-7 or 7-11 backwards. So that's what I have. Earthquake during NFL match, yes, I agree. Seattle, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing Maryland, the Baltimore Ravens, the Patriots, an earthquake during that time, the possibility of the Loch Reservoir Dam being damaged and failing 4 days later on November 7th, causing a great flood instead of a great fire, this time in the city of Baltimore. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.